Japanese automakers Honda and Nissan have announced plans to join forces.
Honda and Nissan announced on Monday that they have formally agreed to hold talks on a possible merger.
What if Honda built an engine that doesn't need petrol, doesn't need charging, and could actually outperform electric cars? While every other car maker is racing toward EVs, Honda took a completely different road. And what they've created could change the way we think about cars forever. According to Honda's CEO, the new CR-V is so powerful it could wipe out the EV market entirely. Sounds unbelievable? Stick around. This could be the future nobody saw coming. From humble beginnings to global powerhouse. Before Honda became a global name, it was just one man trying to figure out how to get around on almost no money after World War II. That man was Soichiro Honda. His first idea: attach a tiny engine to a bicycle. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked, and that's where the story began. From that simple motorbike, Honda's growth was explosive. Soon came motorcycles that didn't just work, they dominated. When Honda bikes started winning races and smashing records, they proved Japan could build machines every bit as fierce as anything from the West. Then came the cars. But Honda didn't just make cars, they built engines that felt alive. Smooth, quick, dependable. Cars that didn't just get you from A to B, but made driving exciting, and people remembered that feeling. Today, Honda makes more engines than any other company in the world. If it's got an engine, there's a good chance Honda builds it. Everything from bicycles to private jets, even Formula One power units. Honda is a heavyweight in the auto industry, selling over 4 million cars a year, making it the 7th largest automaker globally. And it's not just about big sales numbers, it's about how they do it. Legendary reliability paired with constant innovation. Take the Accord, for example, one of the most trusted names in the car world. In just the first half of 2017, Honda sold over 161,000 Accords. That's not luck. That's loyalty. Whether it's your very first car or your 5th, people choose Honda because they know it won't let them down. But Honda's strength isn't just about building cars that last. It's about always looking ahead. They've consistently been at the front edge of change. In the 1970s, they created the groundbreaking CVCC engine, which beat America's strict emissions laws without losing performance. Later, their VTEC system made small engines deliver big engine power. They even brought one of the very first hybrid cars to the US, showing the world that going green didn't have to be boring. Now, they're doing it again. But this time, it's not a hybrid and it's not electric. It's something entirely different. Honda has never believed that the traditional engine's time is over. They've just believed it needs to evolve. And they have a name for this evolution: hydrogen. So why would Honda, already a master at building engines, take such a bold leap into hydrogen? Why swim against the powerful global current pushing toward EVs? And how could one daring decision from Honda's CEO flip the electric car market on its head? The answer comes down to one word: hydrogen. And it could be the biggest automotive game changer you've ever seen. Electric dreams versus hydrogen hope. Electric cars were a crazy idea in the past. No petrol, no noise from the car. You can just plug it in and go. That seemed like science fiction a few years ago. Now, it's everywhere. Teslas zip along the highways, with dashboards with big touchscreens and charging points popping up next to coffee shops. It was quick and electric in the future. It was pushed hard by governments. For people to get out of gas-powered cars, they gave them tax breaks, cash rebates, and other big benefits. A lot of countries have banned petrol and diesel engines in the next 10 to 15 years. Electric vehicles got a huge boost, from goals to fight climate change. Suddenly, going electric wasn't just cool. It became the standard that everyone was racing to meet. Also, EVs had their time. Batteries got better. They charged faster. When people stopped laughing at the idea of a car with no engine noise, they got in line to buy one. Now, everyone from Ford to Hyundai is releasing electric cars like it's the launch of a new smartphone. Tesla led the way. But they don't talk enough about this. This bright and quiet change has a dark side as well. Batteries wear out over time. They are very big, very heavy, and full of rare earth metals like cobalt and lithium. Mining for those things does a lot of damage to the environment. What happens when the battery dies? Getting rid of it is another problem. Besides, charging takes a long time, sometimes hours, if you're not near a fast charger. There's also range of nervousness. Do I have enough charge to get home? Is something you always think about. It's true, not everyone is happy with how fast EVs are getting better. Still, long trips can be a pain, especially in places where charge networks aren't very good. Cost is another thing to think about. Electric vehicles are still pricey, even with tax breaks. Even though energy seems cheap, prices could go up if a lot of people plug in at the same time. EVs seem like the best solution, but they have some issues. It gets crackier as you dig deeper. It's not just about switching to electric. The goal is to find an answer that is truly clean, truly effective, and doesn't just move the problem to a different place. That's where Honda makes its move. Instead of rushing to copy what everyone else is doing, Honda is stepping off the EV highway and taking a different route, one that skips long charging times, avoids battery waste, and doesn't depend on rare metals from halfway around the world. It's not electric, it's not petrol, it is somewhere in the middle, and it's driven by the universe's lightest element, a fuel that when used turns into water. Honda thinks it's the only thing that could make the EV business go faster. Because there was hydrogen before there was torque, Honda has been here before too. What the truth is, that all began with a car that changed everything and then just vanished. Clarity FCVs rise and fall. Back in 2015, Honda dropped something that looked like it drove straight out of the future. It didn't sip petrol. It didn't plug in like your usual electric car either. Instead, it ran on hydrogen. They called it the Honda Clarity Fuel Cell, and it made its world debut at the Tokyo Motor Show. This was Japan's first hydrogen-powered car you could actually buy, and it wasn't just futuristic in looks. It drove that way too. The Clarity wasn't an old model with a fancy new system bolted on. Honda built it from scratch to run purely on hydrogen. Inside, it packed wave flow technology that pushed hydrogen faster, squeezing out more power while wasting less. Its fuel cells were compact, perfectly placed, and more powerful than anything Honda had built before. The result? A clean, long-lasting machine. One full tank could carry you about 360 miles, farther than most electric cars back then. It delivered an impressive 88 miles per gallon, and its only exhaust was harmless water vapor. Smooth, silent, spacious. It seemed like the Clarity had cracked the code for what a truly clean car could be. But despite all the innovation, the Clarity never hit the heights Honda hoped for. The problem wasn't the car itself. It was everything around it. Hydrogen refueling stations were rare. If you didn't live in California or a few select Japanese cities, you were out of luck. Road trips, risky at best, and people just don't buy cars that make them anxious about running out of fuel. Plus, hydrogen tech felt complicated, even a bit intimidating. Electric cars, on the other hand, were simple. Plug in, charge, drive. They had all the buzz. Celebrities drove them. They looked sleek. Governments were throwing incentives their way. Charging stations popped up everywhere. Fuel cell cars, not so much. Hydrogen adoption depended on scattered government policies. There were fewer tax perks, less publicity, and almost no chance for the average driver to take one for a spin. So, while the Clarity was an engineering marvel, it was a commercial underdog. By 2021, Honda pulled the plug on the Clarity fuel cell, along with its plug-in hybrid and battery electric siblings. But that wasn't the end. Far from it, the Clarity gave Honda more than sales. It gave them deep expertise, and it proved something important. Hydrogen fuel cell cars work. The science was never the problem. The world just wasn't ready yet. So Honda did what smart companies do. They waited. They watched. They learned. They let the EV boom run its course while quietly working in the background. Their hydrogen ambitions still alive, stronger than ever. This time, they're coming back with backup, teaming up with General Motors to build something that solves Clarity's biggest problems: more range, smarter tech, and most importantly, they're putting it into a vehicle people already love, the CR-V Hydrogen SUV. This isn't a minor tweak. It's a comeback, one with the potential to rattle the entire EV market. Because under the hood of this next-generation CR-V isn't just fresh technology, it's a direct challenge to the future of electric vehicles. Buckle up. Honda's engine power meets the future. Honda has always built engines. It's in their DNA. From nimble mopeds to roaring race cars, they didn't just make engines, they mastered them. But as the world moves away from petrol, the question becomes, what does engine mastery even mean now? For Honda, the answer points toward hydrogen fuel cells. While many automakers rushed headfirst into battery tech, Honda looked ahead and asked, how can we keep everything that makes our engines great and make them green? Hydrogen turned out to be the key. Fuel cells don't behave like traditional EVs. There's no odd lag, no artificial feel. They deliver instant, smooth acceleration, just like a great petrol engine, but without the pollution. Driving one feels familiar, yet revolutionary. The soul of a combustion engine, minus the noise, smoke, and fuel. The only thing that comes out of the tailpipe is pure water vapor, and the power is clean, generated on demand. That doesn't mean Honda is abandoning engines. They're reinventing them. Teaming up with General Motors, they've combined Honda's engine craftsmanship with GM's electric expertise. Together, they're building fuel cell systems that are smaller, faster, and more efficient than ever. Honda's precision meets GM's EV smarts, and the result could reshape the playing field. And Honda's vision stretches beyond just fuel cells. Back home in Japan, they're part of a groundbreaking alliance with Toyota, Subaru, Mazda, and even Yamaha. The mission? Develop low-emission internal combustion engines powered by biofuel, hydrogen, or even ammonia. The aim isn't to kill off EVs, it's to give people more options, especially in places where EVs aren't practical or where the power grid can't keep up. Cleaner combustion could keep the wheels turning in parts of the world where plug-in solutions fall short. Honda's engine story isn't over, it's entering a new chapter. They're not chasing trends, they're redefining what it means to build a car. True to Honda's spirit, it's about performance, reliability, and trust. While other automakers scrapped engines in favor of all-new designs, Honda doubled down, re-engineering the heart of the car itself. And quietly, they've begun proving that this philosophy works, getting their technology into some of the world's most prestigious institutions. Can Honda really destroy EVs? So here's the big question. Will Honda's new hydrogen-powered CR-V really disrupt the EV business? While it may seem extreme, the difference between the two is clear when put next to each other. First, let's talk about one of the worst things about electric cars, the time it takes to charge them. Based on the type of charger, most EVs take 30 minutes to several hours to charge fully. For its part, the hydrogen CR-V can be refueled in 3 to 5 minutes, which is about the same amount of time it takes to fill up a petrol tank. It's not just a win. That really hurts. Range comes next. Today, a fully charged electric car can go 200 to 300 miles. Honda's hydrogen CR-V, on the other hand, can go closer to 400 miles. What a big difference that extra distance makes, especially for people who drive a lot or can't stop and charge all the time. Allow us to now talk about emissions. Electric and gas cars don't release any pollution when they drive, which is great for the environment. The hydrogen CR-V, on the other hand, does more. Instead of big lithium batteries, it uses a fuel cell that only gives off water vapor to make energy on the go. It's still clean, but there aren't any of the problems that come with making and throwing away batteries. When it comes to infrastructure, it's clear that electric cars are ahead, at least for now. There are more charging sites, and most people can charge their cars at home. Some places like California, Japan, Germany, and China are quickly adding more hydrogen stations, but there aren't many yet. And unlike filling stations, which can take time and energy from the grid, hydrogen stations let you fill up quickly and efficiently without putting too much strain on the power grid. Another big deal is the power source. EVs need batteries, which require rare earth materials like lithium and cobalt, which are hard to find, expensive, and bad for the environment to mine. Hydrogen fuel cells don't do that at all. There are no big batteries, no batteries that don't break down over time, and no battery fires. It's clean energy that is easy to use. The market is now changing. People are excited about electric cars, but they're having trouble getting them to work. Delays in charging, limited range, rising power costs, and questions about how long batteries last are all making people angry. That's why hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and now hydrogen are getting a lot of attention. Honda didn't just come out with a new technology, they put it in the CR-V, which is one of their most reliable cars. Because it makes hydrogen feel like home, it's a good idea. It's not an experimental pod car. Millions of people already know and love it. It's just cleaner, faster, and better. Do you think hydrogen will replace all EVs? Probably not. And honestly, it doesn't need to. Even a small slice of the market is enough to shake things up, change how people see clean driving, and push automakers to innovate faster. That's not destruction. That's disruption. And now that Honda has stepped into the game, the rest of the industry can't just sit back. But Honda's mission isn't simply about beating competitors. It's about rewriting the rules. Not just Honda, not just hydrogen. Honda's move into hydrogen isn't just a flashy comeback. It's part of a much bigger global shift. Around the world, countries and corporations are rethinking how we power the future. And it's no longer just an EV conversation. Clean energy has turned into a fierce competition. Take Toyota in Japan. They've been experimenting with something you don't hear about every day: ammonia. It's not as trendy as hydrogen, but it packs serious punch. Ammonia burns clean, delivers more energy per unit volume than hydrogen, and works in modified internal combustion engines. Toyota sees it as a promising option for heavy-duty vehicles that need more muscle than hydrogen or batteries can provide. Meanwhile, China is moving at high speed. They already lead the world in EV sales, but the government is looking beyond batteries, exploring hydrogen and ammonia to reduce oil imports and clean up urban air. Their focus? Goods transport and logistics. They're betting the future won't be dominated by just one clean energy source. And then there's South Korea. The Korean Energy Research Institute has built a dual-fuel engine that runs on both gasoline and ammonia. It's still early days, but tests have shown up to a 70% drop in carbon emissions, proof that we can upgrade old engines instead of scrapping them entirely. Here's a thought. What if hydrogen and ammonia didn't have to compete? What if each simply played to its strengths? Hydrogen is lightweight, perfect for cars, buses, and fleets that need quick refueling and flexible clean energy. Ammonia, on the other hand, is ideal for cargo ships, long-haul trucks, and heavy industry where you're hauling big loads over long distances. Together, they could create a more balanced, adaptable, clean energy future. But let's be real. It's far from smooth sailing. Hydrogen refueling stations are rare in most countries, and ammonia infrastructure is practically non-existent. Fuel cell cars are still pricier than both conventional and electric vehicles. Costs will drop as tech improves, but for now, the gap is too big for most buyers. There's also the knowledge gap. Many people don't really understand how hydrogen cars work. Some think they're unsafe. Others see them as experimental. EVs have already crossed into the mainstream. Hydrogen hasn't. That lack of familiarity slows adoption more than most realize. And then there's the source of the fuel. For hydrogen to truly be green, it has to come from renewable sources like solar or wind, not fossil fuels. That's green hydrogen, and it's the only way the technology can fully deliver on its clean energy promise. Honda's hydrogen-powered CR-V isn't here to wipe out EVs. It's here to push the whole industry forward. It's proof that hydrogen, EVs, hybrids, and even synthetic fuels all have a place in the future of transportation. When Honda's CEO said, "This engine will destroy the EV industry," it wasn't a threat. It was a wake-up call. Not about ending anything, but about stirring things up. Not a battle, but a shift. Honda isn't against the future. They're helping shape it. Now the rest of the industry has to catch up. If you found this breakdown interesting, don't just scroll away. Hit like, share it, and subscribe for more deep dives. And go ahead, click that next video waiting for you. Trust me, you'll want to see it.